Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome again to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. I say again, welcome to my podcast, Snacks Thoughts. And guys, what is my topic for tonight? Well, I was thinking about these Section 8 cuts, that are ramping up, and thinking about Trump and Elon Musk, and I guess the Doge is continuing with the blade. But for tonight's topic, regarding Section 8, I want to call this topic when other people's sex, affect taxpayers' pockets. Or maybe another way to say it would be when other people's sex costs taxpayers money. And I'll say it again, when other people's sex costs taxpayers money. And let me give this disclaimer as I get started. I'm not here, to judge or knock or tell anybody, how to conduct their intimacy in their life, and about how many kids they should or should not have, out of wedlock. I'm not here to do that, but, I'm highlighting, a point. And, I guess you could say this American system, is kind of breaking down, and the government can no longer afford, to play trick daddy, to these single parents. Now, understand something. There are other individuals that are on Section 8, besides single parents, whether it's single fathers or obviously mostly single mothers. You have the elderly that are on it, and you also have the disabled, and you also have a percentage of healthy and able-bodied individuals that are able to work, that are on this system. And a little bit of background, I myself, me and my sister, we had our stint, obviously, with welfare, especially after my parents got divorced. Now, my parents divorced when I was 5, and my father was in me and my sister's life, but when the family splits up like that, it can drop, the income level significantly, and, drop you out of a certain class level. And in my particular case, that happened for me at the age of about 4 or 5, and my sister was about 3 going on 4. So for us, that, separation happened early, and my dad and my mom never reconciled, and the divorce was finalized at 9. But from that point, we wound up, in the projects until, both of us, graduated high school and wound up, moving on. But anyway, so I know about the welfare and the Section 8, generational Section 8, where I've seen it with some of my family members and other people that I lived with, in low-income housing, or in New York City, we call it the projects, where, you may have the grandmother that may wind up on welfare. Then what'll happen, her daughters may get, pregnant, early with children out of wedlock. And then, they get trapped up in a bind, and then they wound up staying in an apartment. And what happens is that when, say, if the grandmother passes on, what would happen, they would wind up leaving the apartment, to the daughters, or to the kids. And what would happen is that the daughters would wind up, staying in those projects. And then if their daughters got pregnant early, it's like a cycle. And so they would just keep on passing the apartment down. And so I know all about it, the cheap rent, the food stamps, all about it. So I'm not one that's just talking, as an observer. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to say this to be fair. Everybody that's on welfare or Section 8, are not, bad people. Many are, good people, hardworking. But it's unfortunate, that you're going to have those that really do need it. And unfortunately, you will have those that really need to get off of it, and they need to be working because there's nothing wrong with them, And so when I talk about when other people's sex, cause taxpayer funding, I'm talking about, and this is no offense, towards single moms, or single dads, but really for single mothers, I'm not bashing or anything like that, I'm just conveying a point and keeping it real. But if you have, able-bodied men and women, right? And what happens is that, the women keep getting, pregnant and producing children, out of wedlock. Number one, somebody has to pay, for that. Now, kids are a blessing, but also, they have to be cared for, and, they need, time, they need love, they need attention, and they need money. You got to give them food and shelter, and that stuff is not cheap, So you have all of these factors in. And so if a individual keeps having more children out of wedlock and they're not married and they're already financially unstable, or if you want to say poor, they're already set back behind the 8 ball. And so what happens is that if they're not married and you don't have two capable parents or responsible parents, or if they don't have families that have some type of money or some support, then they're going to have to rely on the system to get that support, for those kids. And so where do these systems, what do these government and state funded systems get the money from? They get it from, hardworking, tax-paying individuals such as myself. And what has happened is that this system, it has been overburdened and overloaded, for so long that they can no longer afford, to keep paying it out. And so this is not official, but I know that Trump and Musk are considering maybe, word on the street. This is not official, but maybe cutting people off on welfare after, say, a 2-year stint. Now, this does not mean those that are, say, disabled and, say, the elderly that need it. Now, in regards to them, there are some elderly people that have assets, worth several $100,000 to a couple of million, that they haven't liquidated, and they're pulling on the Section 8. And so, in all honesty, they should not be on it. If you have those type of assets, you're not supposed to be on it. Those assets need to be liquidated, or they need to be getting cash flow off of those assets, and they should be getting money from that versus their kids, living in these multiple houses, or either taking the money, and from their elderly parents. They need to handle business. Hey, if you taking your parents' money, then you need to take care of them because you're benefiting off of the assets that they have. So in that regard, that portion of the elderly needs to be removed, from the system because you have more than enough money or assets, So you shouldn't be on it anyway, For those, like I said, that are disabled, my opinion, they should remain on it and be able to collect, a check and, certain benefits because they don't have, they have a disability. So that's a different case, But as for those men and women that are healthy and able-bodied and able to work, they need to be cut off at a certain point, and, so to speak, forced, to go back to work because there's no reason for healthy and able-bodied individuals to just sit on a system, and just collecting a check, and food stamps, at the expense of others that go to work every day, or they run businesses and they're paying their taxes. So if you're healthy, the Bible says if a man does not work, he should not eat. And that means a woman too. That means mankind. if you healthy body and you're able to work, you know what I'm saying, get out there and work, you know what I'm saying, stop scamming the system. Number two, if these men and women, you know what I'm saying, these women have time, you know, to lay on their backs and keep on having sex, well then you could have all the sex you want to. It's just stay out of taxpayers' pockets. You see what I'm saying? You know, you should pay for your own feel good. You know what I'm saying? So if these women want to keep on laying on their backs or busting it wide open, you know what I'm saying, then let them be held accountable and handle their responsibilities. And for the men that's Johnny apple seeding it, they like planting crops everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying, man up. You know what I'm saying? Handle your business. Now, I will say this, you know, I think that one of, here are some of the ways, in my opinion, that I think that if you are going to put a time limit on how long people can be on Section 8, well, then you have to have something for them to transition to. I do believe in being fair, you know, so I would say that you figure what the average degree, what is it, about maybe 4 years? If you need to get a certification or associate is like 2 years. So I would say probably for those that are able-bodied, you know what I'm saying, because if they have to, if you're going to make them go, if the government's going to make them go to school and they're going to be kicked off for welfare benefits anyway, I would say maybe give them no more than a 4-year, time limit. Tops, you know what I'm saying? That's enough time for them to get some formal education and get their skills updated. But not only that, you must also provide a pipeline, you know what I'm saying, with job placement. You got to create jobs also, because so you just can't throw people off a system, but you don't have nowhere for them to go. So I would say with Trump and Elon Musk or with Doge, you know what I'm saying, that's something they have to consider. Now, I don't know if they have or not, but if you are going to take these people, you know what I'm saying, kick them off of Section 8 and stuff like that and make them get it on their own, then you have to make sure that they get the training and education that they need, and then also that they have careers that they can flow into. You can't just get them, you know, educated, but you don't have nowhere for them to go, or no jobs or career fields or maybe businesses that they can start. So that has to be taken into account.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You just wasted a whole bunch of taxpayers' money paying for them to get educated, paying for, say, for childcare, but now they get the education, they get certification, you know what I'm saying, but now they don't have nowhere to apply these skills. And also, what if they want to be entrepreneurs, okay? They get the skills certifications and want to open up a business. Well, then you need, I would say Trump, Elon Musk, and the Doge team and the government needs to consider making small business, you know, loans and grants, you know what I'm saying, available so that they can float. They got to have somewhere to go. You can't kick them off of one system and then clog up another. You know, see what I'm saying? Because it's going to lead, you know what I'm saying, to a problem one way or another. If they don't have nowhere to go and you throw all these people off of welfare in Section 8 and they don't have a way to earn money, now you're creating a problem for society. So they're going to wind up, you know what I'm saying, somewhere, and people will do what they have to do to survive. So these are things that must be considered, you know what I'm saying. How are you going to use taxpayers' resources? And I want to say something, I want to be straight up. Those that are the elites at the top and those that are in Congress and the political office, they don't have much room to talk because they were the ones that had the checkbook, and they have abused taxpayers' money, you know what I'm saying, more than a welfare recipient ever could do. So them rich elite folks and them politicians in Congress, they really can't open their mouth if you want to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to force people off the system, then you need to make sure that there's some checks and balances at the top and make sure that they're not stealing taxpayers' money and putting it in their coffers into offshore bank accounts, into Swiss bank accounts. Let's keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? And they buying properties, you know what I'm saying? They investing in different things, and they steadily getting rich, you know what I'm saying? But they squawking and beefing about people that are on Section 8. So if you're going to cut those, you know, say the poor, and maybe some of them, maybe some of them are shiftless, but some of them are just as raggedy and ratchet at the top as well. So to President Trump and Elon Musk and the Doge team, you know what I'm saying? What's good for the gander, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So if you're going to cut, you know what I'm saying? Don't just cut at the bottom, you know what I'm saying? Cut at the top, because at the top, y'all got more than enough money, you know? But I would say you got to create a pipeline, you know? Then I would say for the ladies, man, you know what I'm saying, that's single, and if you ain't getting married, I hate to say this, but I think that the state or the government should go with they get to pop out, you know what I'm saying, 2 babies out of wedlock. After that, they should be mandated by law to go get their tubes tied until they get married. Don't pop out no more babies, you know what I'm saying, until you get married or get a husband. You know, so that's another option, you know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, that may not sound too cool, you know, but if the ladies talk about it's my body, you know what I'm saying, my choice, well, then make sure, you know what I'm saying, that you use your own wallet and your choice to fund what you do with your body. You can't say your body, your choice, you know what I'm saying, but you steadily digging in taxpayers' pockets, you know what I'm saying, to get your benefits or get Uncle Sam to be a trick daddy for you. You know what I'm saying? It don't work that way, you know? So if it's your body, your choice, then your body be accountable, you know what I'm saying, and spend your own money, you know, to fund your own intimate activities. You know what I'm saying? Now, another solution, which they do have, is male birth control. And I ain't talking about condoms. They have male birth control. It's already in India, but what the deal is, the big pharmaceutical companies in the West, they don't want to allow it, you know what I'm saying, in to the West, because they know what would happen. If you gave men, you know what I'm saying, the pill or the shot or the access to male birth control where they couldn't get women pregnant, then they probably fear that they might see a greater population decline. Because let me tell you this, you can best believe men would use the birth control. Men are not gonna get any woman pregnant that he don't want to have his baby. You know what I'm saying? And some of the guys, I'm not excusing the Johnny Appleseeds, but some of the men that do have, you know what I'm saying, all these kids, some of these guys, if they had their choice, they would not have had children by a lot of these women. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be harsh or cruel, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And some women or some ladies have practiced what is called womb hustling. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't keep that man, you know what I'm saying, straight off the rip, you know what I'm saying, fair, and he don't really want to be with you, trying to have a baby to trap him, you know, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, I'm a product of that. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad that my son is here, you know what I'm saying? But, his mom caught me slipping, you know what I'm saying? And tried to pull that, you know what I'm saying? But, it's not, you can't keep a man by trying to trap him. If you don't have his heart and he don't want to be with you, you know what I'm saying, honestly, then it's like some of you ladies, you're going to have to just, you're going to have to chalk it up as a loss and take that L and don't bring in, you know what I'm saying, another life, you know what I'm saying, without considering, you know what I'm saying, the future of that child. Because you want to try to keep a man. If his heart ain't with you, you know what I'm saying? Hey, baby, you gotta cut your losses, you know what I'm saying? There's God made more than one man. And that's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they should give the birth control to the men. Give it to the men where they could take a pill. It's like a beta blocker. And what it does, it does something to the sperm, you know what I'm saying, where it cuts something off to where that sperm is not able to release and go fertilize an egg, or they can take a shot. It's a shot that man can take. But they got it's already in India, but it's just that right now, they kind of working you know what I'm saying, with the West, you know what I'm saying, with the patents and all of that, and the West is, you know, the West is going to big pharmaceuticals. They're either going to try to buy that scientist out that created it, or they're going to try to block it from coming to the West. So isn't it odd that they won't give the birth control to the men, but they give the women all the birth controls, and you see, you know, what has happened. But if you give it to the men, I guarantee you, you would have a lot less, you know what I'm saying, of this problem and this overload on the system, because men only want to get women pregnant that, you know, that they really want to be with, and the women that they really want to be their wives, or that they want to be their children's mothers. So the guy don't have no say-so or choice, you know what I'm saying? Now, it does take two to tango, but at the end of the day, women, you know, do make the choice, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's going to be pro-life or either, you know, pro-whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not here to judge that, you know what I'm saying, one way or the other. I'm just merely pointing out, you know what I'm saying, my observations and some facts, you know. But yeah, but it's some food for thought, you know what I'm saying? It is some food for thought, and we have a broken system, you know, with this child support. This child support ain't no joke, you know. In some ways, it has been Slim Shady, you know. And they child support, you know, the state don't care. They all about getting that bread, you know. So they don't care who they get, you know what I'm saying. You know. Men, you know, doing DNA tests, and the child support in the system still won't let them off after it's proven that the children are not theirs, and women have performed paternity fraud. So you tell me. But anyway, nevertheless, you know, that's the deal, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. But from what I understand, I know that Trump and Doge and Elon Musk, they do intend to shorten your limits on Section 8 in welfare. So it is coming, but word on the street, I'm hearing buzzing around that it could be something like maybe cut it off at 2 years. And that's all you get. You don't get any more. So it forces men and women, you know what I'm saying, and ladies, you know what I'm saying, to consider, you know, what you're doing and who you laying down with, you know what I'm saying, and don't, maybe I can't tell nobody what to do, you know what I'm saying, because I did my thing, you know what I'm saying, I can't lie, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite, but at the same token, if I risked it and I put my seat on the line, I knew that I was held accountable, and it was my responsibility to take care of any child that I would bring into this world. You know, I was never a Johnny Appleseed, and I don't leave or defer my responsibilities to other men. You know, so let me say that right there. You know, but you ladies got to make gonna have to make more careful and conscious decisions, you know what I'm saying, with your, you know, intimacy life. You know what I'm saying? And for the guys, y'all know the deal. You know what I'm saying? You have to make better decisions if you don't want to be bogged down, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of children. Children cost money, love, time, and attention. You know what I'm saying? So you got to consider that. But anyway, guys, that's all I have on this one, and I'm glad to be back. I was under the weather for a minute, you know, that flu, you know what I'm saying, you know, had me knocked down for a minute. So I'm glad to be back, you know what I'm saying, and so I'm back rocking and rolling, baby. But anyway, the name of this podcast is Snack Thoughts. SNAKZTHOUGHT, Snack Thoughts. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, Acast, SoundCloud, Radio PBM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, and a host of other social media outlets. Also, I have a YouTube channel, Eric Broadus YouTube, EricBroadus YouTube, or ericbroadusyoutube.com. So please join and share Snack Thoughts. Leave a comment on Snack Thoughts. Also, join Eric Broadus YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Smash that bell to become a subscriber. Turn on all notifications. Either way, if you don't like the videos, you know, hit the like button if you like them. If you don't like it, hit the unlike button. Either way, leave a comment. Love to dialogue with you. You know, yes, indeed, you know. But share them and push them out. But again, the name of this episode, when other people's sex costs taxpayers money. Think about it, guys. Share your thoughts on it. You know, share your thoughts on it. But that's all I have. Share Snack Stars and Eric Brothers YouTube with family, friends, frenemies, enemies, frenemies, dogs, cats, bats, goats, you know what I'm saying, rats, whatever. Share it, you know what I'm saying, push it out, you know what I'm saying. That's all I have on this one. Peace out, you know what I'm saying. Catch you on the next one later.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No